Hey YouTube, I was going to do a final video on changes I've made to the pressure lube feeder for the Magma Engineering Star Lube Sizer. So when you get their pressure feed system, you get this air cylinder, and they've attached a pressure regulator, an adapter from eighth to quarter, and IM air fitting. And then from your normal hand pressure system, you take off the pressure nut that just threads onto the end of the cylinder. They give you this coupler that threads onto the end of the cylinder. You take the piston with its rubber seal off the stock manual thing there, and they give you a screw to attach it to the air piston. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace this is an SMC air cylinder. I believe it's the NCMC 106-0600 air cylinder. I'm just going to take this apart, take that off, and replace it with this is an SMC cylinder. I think it cost me maybe 45 bucks. And it's an NCDMC 106-0600, the D designating a magnetic piston. So I'm just going to take the regulator and hook it on there and move that stuff over. That's not too complicated. eBay got a pack of blinking LEDs with 9-volt battery clips, super cheap. This is a 3D printed part out of TPU. I think I used 2mm wall thickness, 40% infill, Pryline TPU is fairly flexible, but it'll still print in like a stock Ender 3V2 just fine, as long as you keep the speeds down. So that part. This is an SMC reed switch. It's an SMC 3CD-Z73. Has a built-in little LED there. Just a normal rail mount, with the set screw reed switch. You could use any, of that same similar rail mount switch you want. I chose a regular reed switch because it has no, the solid state ones bleed a little bit of power when they're not on. I didn't want to add a switch to keep it from slowly depleting a 9-volt battery. And then you end up with a brownish wire and a blue wire. So the brownish red wire gets wired to the red lead going to the battery, and the blue wire would be the positive side of the load. In this case, that'll be the LED. So we'll wire that up. I found if I scrape that sticker off so the glue doesn't just stick to the sticker, I'll just hot glue that sensor into this notch with the wiring tail kind of pointed the same direction as that little shoulder for the LED. But I'll scoot it down to where the stock LED is just showing below there, and I'll just hot glue that in, and I think the LED will fit fine, friction fit, and then a battery will fit fine in there. And I'll, keep the wires short and put them in a little loom. So we'll just do all that here real quick. I'll probably also, here, I'll probably go with attach a 90 on there and a piece of 8mm air hose, just because I have it laying around. And then put a coupler down here, just so I don't have a big, stiff, bulky, normal air compressor line hooked up right here. I can have that thinner line kind of go down to the end of my bench and hook my air compressor line to it. So let me get that done here real quick. Okay, so here's what this little piece looks like put together. I think I said I was going to mount so the LED showed below the printed piece, but I actually found it fit better above. And the battery's a friction fit in there, and the LED is a friction fit in that spot there. So then don't know if if I can do this one-handed. I'm gonna pause for a minute and snap that on the cylinder. Okay, so here it is mounted on the cylinder. You can see I did end up adding a 90-degree fitting there. Not really necessary, but I had the parts laying around. So here's a stick of my favorite lube, and I've clipped this onto the cylinder and slid it up and down so that when the piston comes down to the point where I could fit in a full stick of lube, it trips that reed switch. And so I've got you can see the sensor from the back, and you can see the blinking LED right in your face. And a person could just use the LED built into the reed switch, but I think the blinking LED, which these clips with a blinking LED and a battery clip were about the same price as just ordering battery clips. So I think that'll work pretty good. And I said I've pretty much, I think, got it right where I want it, where it'll go off right as soon as I can fit a full stick. So I'll just take a Sharpie or something and mark it there. So now as I'm lubing bullets, when the blinker goes off, I'll know to pull this off and put a lube stick in it, and that way I'm not running until you start seeing bullets with no lube, which is kind of a pain in the tuchus, or guessing and taking this off and finding a full stick won't fit, and you want to bother cutting a chunk off and whatever. The air feed to push the lube into the size lubricator really does work slick, but just the ability of not being able to see how much of the lube you have left is sort of a pain, so I think this solves it. And I hope Magma Engineering sees this and sends them like this. I think it'd be a little more better, if you pardon the bad grammar. Anyhow, hope this is helpful for somebody. Bye. Yeah, I know I did a little sign off on that video, but I decided to add another little segment on the end showing it on the Lube Sizer, mainly to point out I did switch the, comes with a plug and a gauge, and I switched them around so I can see the pressure gauge with the everything on the left side of the cylinder, since the handle for the Lube Sizer is on the right. And the swivel 90 works pretty good. You can just, when you need to remove the thing from the machine to add lube, you can just sort of hold the hose up and have it do a little ballet pirouette to get it unthreaded. I might actually just put a 90 here and put an air fitting right here, and I think that'll be better. Just having a compressor hose just kind of dangling all over everything was sort of annoying. Anyway, that's that. Works good. Should be super handy. It's nice to be able to see when it is time to add some lube without waiting for it to completely run out.